I want you all to remember something as we bring you up to date on the Iran-Israel war. This was never about Iran getting a nuclear weapon. That was irrelevant. It was always about regime change in Iran, just like the regime in Iraq or Libya or Syria. Nuclear weapons were always a canard, a straw man to use in order to carry out regime change. And today we're seeing Israel and the neocons in Washington starting to admit the truth, like this jackass.
Chapter on the largest state sponsor of terrorism in modern history. We got a chance to end the threat to the state of Israel forever by replacing this regime with something better. And I do believe the biggest winner of the Ayatollah leaving would be the Iranian people. So pray for our troops in harm's way. There are risks associated with any operation.
Just pray for them.
No, let's not put them there or let's protect them. Just pray for them. Spoken like someone who has no one that they want to protect.
Yeah, no kids. He's not married. I mean, I don't know who his husband is or whatever, but like he doesn't have anybody that that's involved in this. So it's fine. It's fine for your kids to be sitting ducks and cannon fodder right now.
And tell me what countries Iran is attacking and bombing on a daily basis, like the U.S. Like what all countries are they messing with? Just out of curiosity.
Has Iran hit the United States in any kind of attack? Maybe I'm missing that.
Well, the neocons would say that Iran had a hand in the assassination attempts on Donald Trump, that Iran has been funding Hezbollah and Hamas, and that Iran continues to threaten, and that they hate Israelis. I don't want to say Israelis, that they hate Jews is the official narrative that you are asked to bite on. Therefore, we must destroy them.
Yeah, we have to destroy them. And by creating regime change in Iran, Israel is standing up for you, the Americans. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu just posted. Watch.
I mean, this is an outrageous, radical, fanatic regime, and the time has come to defang them and to stand up against evil. That's what we're doing. But in so doing, I think we're also I know we're also standing up for you, for our Arab neighbors, for people around the world, and indeed, even for the United States, because they're trying to build ballistic missiles that will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States. So everybody is under threat from this criminal regime, and somebody had to act to stop it, and that's what we're doing.
Oh,
I have a question for you. Yeah. I have a question. Why didn't that work for Zelensky when he told the United States that if we don't stop Russia, then they're coming for us? That was the same thing that Zelensky said in the Oval Office, and Trump and Vance gave him a spanking. Why is that fine now? Why is it okay for a world leader to say that now?
It's a little something called a double standard. So when Benjamin Netanyahu speaks, he is basically he's the president of the United States. So when Benjamin Netanyahu speaks, Americans have to listen. You have to fall in line behind Benjamin Netanyahu. We've always done his bidding when he got us into destroying Libya, when we went after Iraq and killed Saddam Hussein for a regime change operation. He told us that Iraq was getting nuclear weapons material. Total lie. It didn't matter. Millions of people died, and we did his bidding. So now the third part of this stool is Iran, of course. As Henry Mann, thank you for your $10 super chat, says, okay, let me make a clarification. No further involvement in the Iran-Israel war. Yeah, that's our position on this show. Absolutely not, full stop. So it's not about nuclear weapons. It's all about regime change. That's what this is, full stop. So we've got a lot of major developments that happened overnight, over the last few minutes, actually. We'll get to all of that in a second. But first, the U.S. seems ready to fully enter this war. And Peace President Donald Trump just warned the civilian population of Tehran to immediately evacuate. Iran should have signed the deal, he said. I told them to sign. What a shame. What a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran.
Just so you know, airspace is closed in Iran. So you have to drive.
Where are you going to go? Again, between 9 and 15 million people live in Tehran metro area. Just find an Airbnb while we destroy your city. Axios reporting a short time ago that Trump is seriously considering entering a U.S. strike on Iran. Meanwhile, Trump is speaking of both sides of his mouth because, he said, we now have complete and total control over the skies over Iran. Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't compare to American-made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. But wait a second. So we're directly involved in this now? We always knew we were.
Over the weekend, the messaging was, this was a unilateral. We had nothing to do with it. Do not strike our troops.
Yeah, can we put that one up?
Who can follow this?
Put that one up. So, yeah, on Friday, the U.S. had nothing to do with this, with the attack on Iran tonight. If we're attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. Armed Forces will come down on you.
Now we have full control because our stuff is the best and our people are the best. What are we supposed to take away from that?
He also just posted this about assassinating a foreign leader. We can go back one slide here, Philip. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, kill him, at least for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So in other words, it's going to assassinate foreign leaders now? Like, we're just posting that on social media? What?
Don't pretend that's new. Remember Gaddafi, Hussein?
Yeah. The list is pretty endless at this point.
Soleimani.
Yeah. Soleimani. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cat is out of the bag here. We are fully involved in this. That's why members of Congress are now taking to pen to paper. And Thomas Massie here, Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky. I just introduced an Iran War Powers resolution with the Democrat, Representative Ro Khanna, to prohibit U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran war. This is not our war. Even if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution.
Now, interestingly enough, there are Democrats coming out and echoing this sentiment. We saw overnight that AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, says, I will sign up for this bill. When Thomas Massie first floated it, we see Democratic leaders, David Hogg, speaking out against a new war. We've seen Liz Warren speak out against it. We've seen Bernie Sanders. Now, those people branded themselves as anti-war under the Obama administration, but went full war under the Biden administration for Ukraine. So we can't actually know what they're doing strategically. This is very smart because they can win the midterms on an anti-war platform. They don't have to mean it because Trump obviously won the presidency on an anti-war platform that he doesn't seem to mean. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a secret strategy, but it does not seem that he remembers that anti-war platform that got him elected. Obama won on an anti-war platform, and he droned more civilians in the Middle East, specifically children, than Bush before him. So they can get elected on this and not have to mean it. So we can watch Democrats take this on. Don't believe either of them.
I don't believe either. I mean, Trump ran on being the peace president right now and actively threatening to assassinate a world leader of 90 million people, by the way. Stephen Hightower says in our chat room, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, if Trump goes through with this, he will be wondering why next year he might be impeached. He will have no political capital. Well, you're seeing a fracturing in the MAGA movement right now as if that's the biggest concern. But you're absolutely seeing the neocons showing their faces. All the neocons are coming out right now and throwing their support behind regime change, Lindsey Graham and all these other scumbags. And then you have, you have libertarians. I call them like George Washington conservatives who want to isolate America. They do not want to be involved in foreign wars. I think that's kind of my position here. Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, others saying, no, absolutely not. Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. But right now, all of the news media is fully in the camp right now of going to war. So right now, is the U.S. already involved? Well, just a short time ago, according to OSINT Defender, close to 20 U.S. Air Force KC-315s and KC-46 aerial refueling tankers just lifted off this morning from air bases across Europe, heading in the direction of the Middle East to help Israel refuel. Germany's already been actively involved in refueling efforts. Also hidden in the news, Reuters is reporting that the U.S. al-Shadadi patrol base in northeastern Syria was attacked by Iranian missiles. However, it's unclear if Iran fired those missiles or someone else did. Remember, Reuters, of course, is a mouthpiece of MI6 in the UK, so it would be a perfect false flag event. And before you laugh and say, that would never happen, just remember the USS Liberty, and it'll wipe that smile right off your smug face. U.S. soldiers being used as cannon fodder to justify entering a war. We have a long history of doing it. Gulf of Tonkin, Pearl Harbor, USS Liberty, look it up, educate yourselves. 9/11. But most of you, of course, know that to be the case. So this would not be surprising at all. Major attacks in the last few hours in Iran, lots of attacks in Iran. Here you're looking at a warehouse near Isfahan in central Iran. This was a little bit earlier. where we're seeing attacks where they're claiming, of course, that missiles are being housed in these warehouses. Also, according to eyewitnesses in Iran, heavy strikes just hit in the last few hours against targets in central Iran. These hit surface air missile sites. Israel's ability to attack us in Israel is being degraded at this point because of our attacks on Iran's missile sites. That is coming from Israeli intelligence sources. Israel just released this footage of strikes against Iran's Air Force in Tehran. They blew up 2 F-14 Tomcats. By the way, these are the same jets that Tom Cruise flies in the very first Top Gun movie in the mid-1980s. They are ancient at this point. They are 51 years old. And Iran is currently the only country in the world that still uses them as part of their Air Force. So I don't know, maybe Iran was like, hey, we'll put these out there as like sitting duck targets.
Decoys. Yeah.
Decoys, like, you know, these things haven't flown in 20 years, but hey, maybe you want to wipe them off, then we'll get some new aircraft. Russia we'll get some new ones from China and Russia and North Korea. Who knows? But Israel also destroyed Iran's news agency, hitting them while they were live on the air broadcasting. Here you're seeing the fire, the building on fire. This is again like, this would be like, you know, hitting Fox News while they're live on the air, live on television. Watch this. Here is the moment that happened. That's being shared all over Israel right now, and they're celebrating this attack on Iranian television. They've been Iran, for their part, over the last 45 minutes to an hour, has been striking back big time. Of course, this is getting very little media coverage, of course, in the West. It's all about how Iran is nearly dead, how they're almost wiped off the face of the map. Again, you know, the propaganda is in full swing here. You really, really, really have to dig deep to see that that's not the case. They launched a barrage of missiles targeting Israel, hitting targets across Tel Aviv. Here, this happened in the past 24 hours, hitting Mossad's headquarters. That'd be like hitting the CIA headquarters. Also, Iran struck targets in broad daylight when we're told that they have sky superiority. So they hit them in Tel Aviv, in Herzliya. The IDF also sent a warning to Israelis: hide in their bunkers, not supposed to go outside until you're told to do so. And this about 45 minutes ago, reporting from The Guardian.
They cannot leave.
This is Iran hitting, this is downtown Tel Aviv.
Okay, Israel struck first and then locked down their airspace using their own people as bait to drag us into a larger war. They cannot leave. They can drive, they can take boats, but they knew as soon as they hit Iran on Friday, they declared a state of emergency knowing their own people would die. So don't pretend that this is about saving civilians, because it's not.
By the way, the term nothing to see here, it's just anti-Semitism. Ricardo, that ship has sailed. Okay, get out. All right. Stop using that stupid ass argument here about anti-Semitism. This is about a World War III moment right now.
You are deflating that term. It happens in real life, but it is not because of anti-war stance. So fuck off.
You cannot conflate the two things. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know that we are being poisoned with chemicals in our food, sprayed in our skies, in the soil, leached into our food, antibiotics in the soil, in the cows we eat, all of that. But there's something you can do to fight back, and it starts with your gut. Kimchi One is from Bright Core Nutrition. It contains over 900 strains of beneficial probiotics, and that helps flush toxins, restore gut balance, and support your immune system. So when your gut is strong, your body can resist toxins and you'll feel the difference. Better digestion, more energy, clearer thinking, stronger immunity, even improvements in your skin, your hair, your metabolism. And this isn't just hype. Studies show that fermented foods like kimchi can reduce the risk of obesity, improve your blood sugar, and support whole body wellness. Kimchi One is an all-natural, non-GMO, dairy-free, gluten-free, and 100% made by the USA, in the USA, by a company that actually cares about your health. So right now, you can get 25% off your order by using the code REDACTED at mybrightcore.com/redacted. One more time, that's my mybrightcore.com/redacted. Or for the best deal, you also can call 888-404-6312, and you'll get 50% off, free shipping, and even a free bottle of vitamin D3 with your order. So again, you can call that number, 888-404-6312, or head on over to mybrightcore.com/redacted.
All right. Now, meanwhile, this is a big piece of the story right now. Tulsi Gabbard. Sources telling Redacted today that she might be on the way out, that she might be leaving the DNI. We don't know if that's the case yet. There hasn't been any update on that in the last few hours, but you can understand why. Tulsi Gabbard here just a few weeks ago, sitting in front of Congress, telling her that Iran had no plans to develop nuclear weapons. Watch this.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
Okay, so that was a few weeks ago. Then, according to Jennifer Griffin, Fox News Channel, Fox News' Peter Doocy reports that ODNI Tulsi Gabbard was left out of a meeting to discuss Israel and Iran at Camp David on Sunday, so she wasn't invited. Per Peter Doocy, we can report via U.S. official that DNI Tulsi Gabbard was not invited to last week's Camp David retreat where President Trump convened senior national security officials to discuss the Middle East. They said, oh, it was just a scheduling conflict.
So can we go down the
conflict? Are you out of your mind? You go to Camp David to talk about World War III. There's nothing more important than that meeting.
A dance recital.
I downloaded a movie on Netflix and it expires in 24 hours, so I can't.
Right. I got to watch this thing, otherwise I'm going to lose it. It's a scheduling conflict.
So can we talk about the people that were used to get Donald Trump elected, that endeared us to that campaign because they were independents and spoke truth about the war? Tucker Carlson, now Elon Musk, and Tulsi Gabbard, all of them being isolated as the Trump administration marches towards war. Why? What? It's okay. Now, recently, in just the last few hours, CNN is reporting that Tulsi Gabbard was right. And in fact, U.S. intelligence has no intelligence that Iran had a nuclear weapon or was even close. They said it was at least 3 years away. We knew that because we'd been trying to study the so-called proof that the Obama administration used to sanction Iran because of this threat of a nuclear weapon, and they never were able to. So we know that this is not true. We know that the International Atomic Agency is corrupted. They went to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant that Ukraine was bombing and said they couldn't figure out who was bombing it. We know that they are a mouthpiece of the United States and its war agenda. So we also know we never had proof of this, and we may never need it until 20 years later we can admit that there was no weapons of mass destruction. This will happen. Now, President Trump says he feels pretty confident, though, that Iran probably did. He said he thinks so, and he threw Tulsi Gabbard under the bus. Watch.
You've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
Okay,
I think so. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. If he thinks they did, then even if Iran thought about a nuclear weapon, it's all good. So, game on. Seriously, though, think is our new guiding foreign policy now. And it doesn't matter, though, what Tulsi Gabbard said. Meanwhile, the legacy media is part of this process, manufacturing consent for war. Watch this. Right after Iran struck Israel's version of the Pentagon, Israel apparently told Fox News that, hey, you can't show the world what happened. Fox News admitting this live on the air. Watch Laura Ingraham basically say, yeah, I know Israel doesn't want our cameras to show you what happened there, but can you maybe just tell us? Like, wait, they're telling us what we can show on cameras? We're the media. We're the press. Why are you dictating terms? Watch.
Trey, I know they don't want you to show it, but how badly was their version of the Pentagon, Israel's version of the Pentagon, hit by these attacks?
I know they don't want you to show it. I'm looking at it right now. I don't. To his credit, though, he did turn the cameras around and show it. But really, I know they don't want you to show it. How do you know that?
Our paymasters have said so.
Yeah. How do you know that they don't want you to? Did the IDF tell you, like, don't put this on Fox News, don't put this on CNN, like, keep this stuff quiet?
That's journalism?
That's journalism, baby. And meanwhile, all you need to know about how these warmongers are operating right now, just look at who these people are platforming. You're getting all of these warmongers and neocons and these people who've for years wanted us to go to war with Iran all over television, like General Jack Keane. Regime change. What?
It is in the United States' core national interest to help Israel destroy completely this nuclear enterprise. And Fordow sits out there as a potential target that Israeli is challenged by. It's not that they don't have imagination. It's not that they couldn't do some surprising things. None of that certainly would be off the table.
Yeah, okay. So regime change.